It's 2 o'clock in the morning. My son is calling out for me, Daddy, Daddy, wants me to come in the room with him and sit next to his bed until he can fall asleep again. And during that time, I have a few options for what I can do. I can sit quietly in the darkness, but it's 2020, and as long as it's not Shabbos, I can take out my phone and I can either catch up on old articles of Scientific American or I can binge watch something on Netflix. The truth is I've done both, but there's a show I'm watching now. It's a really popular one, but one of the best parts of the show is the relationship between this couple in the beginning. Will they fall in love? Won't they fall in love? Will they end up together? Fortunately, they eventually do. And as I'm watching it, connecting to them emotionally, I'm reminded of the first moments that I met my wife and fell in love with her, when I proposed to her. And I still have those moments, but as the show progresses, so does their relationship. And so too is my relationship with my own wife. It's grown, it's become something stronger, something different, unique, special, and powerful. And I think about what are some of the best parts of the relationship we have, and I realize that one of the most important parts of any relationship is that no matter what happens between us, we are always there for each other. If we go through something challenging, we're there for each other. Go through something joyous, we're at each other's side. When I wake up in the morning, I know that she will be there no matter what. And that makes our relationship both eternal, powerful, and deeper than any that I've ever had before. And that kind of relationship is also present in the Torah. One of the hallmarks of a great relationship is knowing that the other person will always be there for you. So before we get into this week's parasha, Vayishlach, we have to go back a few weeks when Yaakov, brother of Esav, tricked his father Yitzchak, the behest of his mother, into tricking him into getting the special blessing and the birthright of the firstborn. But he realizes that he's taken something from Esav, and Esav is furious. So Yaakov runs away, terrified of what's going to happen to him. And he finds himself out in the middle of the wilderness, in the middle of the night, frightened. And he falls on the ground, lays down on the ground, and he falls asleep. And in that dream, Hashem visits him and gives him this beautiful message at the top of a sulam, a kind of pyramid with steps going up, which is how people used to worship God in their days, and many interpret it as ladder, could be both. But Hashem says to Yaakov, V'hinei anochi imach, ushmarticha bechol asher telech, v'hashivoticha el ha'adama hazot ki lo e'ezavcha ad asher im asiti et asher dibarti lach. And behold, I am with you, and I will guard you and protect you wherever you go. And I will settle you in the land that he had promised him, the land of Israel. And I will not leave you, la'azov, I will not leave you until I have done what I said I would do, what I spoke to you about. What a beautiful promise, saying, I'm not going to leave you until I fulfill my promise. And in the 12th century, Rabbi David Kimchi, the Radak, emphasizes this in his commentary when it says, Vehine anochi imach, here I am with you. Radak adds, Afal pisha da boreach. In spite of the fact that you ran away, you abandoned your family, you're trying to get away from everything, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to be with you. I will go with you wherever you go. And then on the line that I will not leave you, Kilo zevcha dasher imasiti. I'm not going to leave you until I've fulfilled my promise. And Radak points out something very interesting. He says, Im ken lo ya'azvenu le'olam, ki ha'avtacha lo kol yamav le'olam lizaro acharav. He says, if this is true, that he's not going to leave until the promise is fulfilled, that means God is never going to leave Yaakov, because this promise is going to take more than Yaakov's lifetime, so Hashem will always be with Yaakov, and it's going to take generations. In fact, to this day, we're not fully settled in the land of Israel. We're almost there, but God will stay with us until we're truly at peace. And that is a beautiful hallmark of a very, very strong relationship. But God isn't done here. Hashem wants to remind Yaakov at least one more time in another event that he is with him in a very beautiful and subtle way. So now we fast forward to this week's parasha Vayishlach, which is filled with powerful moments, but one of them is where Yaakov is finally ready to take responsibility for what he's done. He wants to make peace with his brother Esav, but first he needs to make peace with himself. And this is where he has the dust up, the battle by the Ya'avok River, and it's a beautiful play on words, Vayavek, and he had a dust up, a battle, Yaakov, by the Ya'avok River, all of those plays on that same word. And at the end of that battle, this divine being says to Yaakov that he's going to have a new name, and he says, Vayomer lo, Yaakov Ya'amer od shimcha ki im Yisrael. No longer are you going to be known as Yaakov, now you get the name Yisrael, even though he holds on to the Yaakov, he gets this new name. But what's the reason for it? Kisarita im Elohim ve'im anashim vatuchal. Because you strove, you struggled, you fought with, and then Elohim here doesn't seem to be the name of God. It just is a more general divine beings that are beyond humans, like this being that fought with Yaakov and with people, and he was still able to stand up to succeed. Now those people could be Lavan, and they could be Esav, who he's about to face, but the simple reading of this is he's faced everyone and he's been able to succeed, and now he'll be able to face Esav. But in the 19th century, Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch read this, and a number of other rabbis were troubled and said, how can a mere mortal fight with an angel and win? Yaakov is an incredible person, but he's still a man. So Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch read it a little differently. If you look at the Hebrew very carefully, the reason for why he gets the name Yisrael, one who has struggled with El, Kisarita im Elohim, and there's two ways to read that. One is, he has fought, the word im in Hebrew usually means with. And by the way, this two definitions can exist in English as well. I fought with a person, meaning I fought against them, or I fought with them at my side. So if we read the new reading with Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, it's Kisarita im Elohim, because you fought with God by your side, and then you were able to succeed when you fought or struggled with other people. And God is saying, everything you've done, when you struggled with Lavan, when you're about to face Esav, when you're going to think that you're going to lose your son Yosef, and you struggle with your children, I will be there with you at every single moment. I will always be with you. And not only is that one of the keys to an eternal, strong, meaningful, and powerful relationship, to know that even when you fight with each other, you're still always going to be together. You can rely on the other person, but also more specifically here, that Hashem's promise to Yaakov relates to us as well. When we face any challenge in life, and we're facing a lot right now, we are never alone. Hashem is always with us in any battle that we go up against. With that, I wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom and be well.